So we start with a thumb lock. Yes, a thumb lock. So check it out. This is qin-na. So ancient Chinese kung fu locking techniques, basically. So you're shaking his hand. Now you transition by using your whole hand, you see, to hold his thumb. And they mentioned pinky is very important. Pinky has to hold the root of the thumb. And then, look at that. So it's a small joint manipulation, right, as they call it. So there's probably similar moves like this in Aiki-jujutsu or even Aikido. But, so, thumb lock from a handshake position. Kempo probably has something similar too. So, okay, this is an elbow lock. See, look at that. It's an elbow plus a wrist lock. Yeah, 脱肘叠腕. So, again, from handshake position. Interesting. Look at that. So, that's, I believe that's called kazushi, right? You're off balancing him. There's a very key important component. You gotta off balance him. So, I've definitely seen this. Even in Kaju Kembo, they have stuff like this. So, Kempo, Karate, probably, Kaju Kembo. Let's see. Ooh, from a punch. So, this is a... Okay, kind of like a kote gaeshi, a little bit. Yeah, so this is... It's twisting, right? Look at that. It's twisting your wrist. What is this? It's supinating your wrist. I see. So once you get a hyperextension, you bring them down. Look at that. Very interesting. Definitely you see techniques like this in Aikido and Aiki-jujutsu. Whoa, okay. This is kind of like a Sankyo, a little bit. Although, let's see if he's cranking the same way. Kangzhou. Let's see. Okay, I think it's a different mechanism than a Sankyo. You're literally using your entire shoulder, right, to basically break their elbow. That's crazy. Wow. Oh my goodness. It's always these things that you have the gems from. Rarely do you see this stuff because, you know, this stuff is really not really allowed in most combat sports, right? It's just too much unnecessary damage. Okay, this is definitely a move you see in Aikido too. Biezo, as it's called. So this is you attack them from behind, this like figure 4 position, but you don't have to start from behind, right? You could totally start from just regular. Like you could be next to him, you could be facing him, but yeah, look at that figure 4 position as they call it. So, 外拉, the tutorial says. So, okay, I see you're sort of going outwards, right? Going away from him. Watch what he does, right? He's going away from him. Interesting. Yeah, I guess maybe this could be taught to police and security guards, but you gotta be careful, like especially some of them who are a little power tripped, they might break people's small joints and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, definitely. This is a common police position, right? So, yeah, this is a very common police position. Let's see what the tutorial says. So he's grabbing the right hand with his left. And, oh, crook of the elbow. Look at that. Look at his elbow already. Look at the... And then there's right there. So there's a turning motion. see. This is kind of like a little bit like in Aikido there's an Ikkyo or a Nikkyo. I forgot which one, right? It's sort of, you could use that for this. And I'm surprised that like they're just DVDs on this stuff. It's pretty funny. Like, who would buy the DVD and train this stuff? Maybe police officers buy it from like the local video store or something back in the day in China in the 90s. So this one's sort of dealing with a haymaker. So let's see. Okay, yeah, exactly. So you definitely get this position in Aikido. I've seen this again. I forgot if it's Ikkyo or Nikkyo, but definitely get a position like this. See that right there? That's, man, it really shows that at the end of the day, how to take someone down, how to restrain someone, it's kind of universal, right? You're gonna stumble on similar things. So this one, I've definitely seen this one before. Yeah, right there. I've definitely seen that one before. This type of wrist lock. So he's grabbing right to left, right? Right hand to left arm. And then, so you have to use your left arm to make his arm bend more. Then you crank right there. Interesting. So obviously there's going to be a little bit of a criticism, right? Some people will be like, but why are you giving both your weapons to them, right? So this is definitely something to keep in mind. I mean, think about it. What if the person has a weapon in his hand, right? You got to deal with that hand. So think like that. So this is an epically named move. So the last word means sheep. It's hilarious. So let's look at this. Okay, there you go. So he's twisting, he's supinating the wrist again. Look at the use of the thumbs. And then boom, he's gonna, oh, look at that. It's his whole body going down. He's using his whole body. It's not just thumb motion. Look, he's squatting. He's literally, watch Red Shirt drop his whole body. Yeah, I can see how this could work, right? If you just use your arms, you just use your thumbs, yeah, he's gonna come with a punch, but you drop your whole body, yeah. Like, watch this for the mechanism, guys. Okay, I've definitely seen this one. I've definitely seen this one. This is a common one they teach in qin-na. I mean, it's pretty logical, right? This one. Grab him from behind. Try to get him down on the ground. So, I don't think there's too much of a science to this one. Just have to sneak up on them. If you guys want to try these at home, please be careful, right? There's a reason small joint manipulation is rarely trained and usually trained really badly, like in Aikido, because you don't do it right, you could hurt people. And it's like those types of annoying injuries. Like, I've hurt my wrist, not from martial arts, but my wrist is still not 100%. It sucks. So, what a gem. I love this tutorial. So what I think is really funny is this came from a tutorial that was teaching sanda and qin-na. It's like, I think you're catering towards very different, you see, this is what I'm talking about. You're catering towards very different audiences here. But, see some of the sanda throws? But, I guess they're just trying to borrow the throws from sanda. Poor Drasho. So, this one, you initiate. The guy's in guard, you see? You initiate. Look at that. Okay, I see. It's a defense against their grab. So he's grabbing with his right arm. What do? That makes sense. So this is countering a grab. So let's see what he's doing. Okay, there we go. Now you might wonder why. Like, think about if you're a cop and maybe the suspect or something tries to grab your weapon, right? That's what I'm thinking. But then, in real life, you wouldn't try to punch like that, right? So, yeah, that's the only sketchy part. Like, that's the only part that's like, why is he punching him like that? Okay, I've seen this one. I've seen this one in Kempo and Kaji Kembo. So, right there. Go down. Yep. So this part's good. So this one is like a self-defense type of move. I've even seen, there's this really funny account on Red Note. It's like 2 little kids teaching this. So I'm sure this happens once in a while in schools. So look at that. It's all about the whole body, right? He's almost in a drop stance. Look at that. A pubu, as we say in Kung Fu. So a lot of these motions only work if you put your whole body into it. But also, don't expect the opponent just to kind of fall over too, right? You've seen those fights in the hood and stuff. Like, even if you take them to the ground, they might grab your hair with their other hand and stuff. So just know, like, this is only the start. Like, if you really are going to fight dirty and, like, grab hair, like, it gets real bad. Just watch any of those hood fights, especially among girls. So look at that. So this happens, right? Grabbing someone's hair. So the one thing I kind of want to pressure test, maybe one of you with better hair than me. Like, what if he's really grabbing onto your hair? Can he just let go? Obviously, watch how he turns. Like, you see this motion? The guy just kind of gets his hand off. Like, is it that easy? So that's the only thing I'm a little skeptical about this one. See? Watch what he does. He just kind of, his hand just leaves. You see this? That's not how a hair grab actually happens, right? So this is almost a defense against a hair pat. So this one I don't like too much because he's not showing how, you know, if he's really gripped on your hair, okay, how do you get him to, like, you're cranking his wrist and stuff, but is he going to let go like that? So this one's pretty cool. I like this one. So this one's countering a two-handed choke. So, see, he's double choking you. In general, the double choking, it's not a good, like, only people who don't know anything about martial arts would do something like that. Because you're giving both your weapons to him, right? And you're in punching range. Your hands aren't doing anything but just, you know, obviously grabbing his neck, but you're basically giving him your range, right? So I've seen this one too. I've definitely seen this one. So this one, he's controlling him with the hand on the elbow, but you don't even need to do that. Like, you can just crank his wrist. Or even better, you can just remove his hands from you. It's not that hard to remove his hands from you. But I guess that's what he's showing. It's an interesting mechanism. Kind of want to test this one out. Because he's using his right hand on the right hand, right? So it's basically, again, two of his hands on one of the arms. So this one, notice he's going over compared to the last one. His right hand goes over. So, oh, and it's a one-handed. That makes sense. See? So he's grabbing, what is it called? The pinky side of the hand. And then there's also a control of the elbow. Okay, yeah. That seems pretty intuitive. So again, this is good self-defense stuff, like, especially, unfortunately, for couples, right? Sometimes this stuff happens among couples. Man. Let's see. Oh, this one, yeah, I've definitely seen this one. Again, it's a similar mechanism to that front hair grab, right? It's the same thing. He puts his hand on your shoulder. He's giving you his hand. If you can get your whole body weight into it while trapping his wrist, right, you'll bring him down. So again, watch him. That's just to keep his wrist there, right? And then you drop your weight really quickly. And you have to bend forward a little bit. So the force is going downwards, like completely downwards. So watch this. Boom. Yeah, he even mentions your chest has to bend down too. It's not just body weight dropping, your chest has to bend. So that way the wrist is really hyperextending. Yeah, it is extending, exactly. The wrist is hyperextending. When I hurt my wrist initially, last year I was studying all the anatomy terms for the wrist. So, ooh, look at this one. So this is a little bit of a dirtier way to counter a throw or an attempt at a throw. I'm slightly skeptical of this one. I'm slightly skeptical because if his momentum, if his energy is really, really there, you're probably getting taken down. You don't have time to kind of like crank his neck. So this is more like if you've kept your balance, he's not taking you in the air or taking you down already, right? Just seems like there's some hypothetical things about this one that I don't agree with. But, you know, your opponent might not be a wrestler. Oh yeah, this is a very common one. You learn this in judo, you learn this in jujutsu, you learn this in any art, right? So, yeah, you basically, if they don't have a leg forward like that, you have to basically find one of their legs, right? If they're more parallel to you, you find one of their legs. So, and also, another thing to keep in mind is this is if your arms are above their arms, right? If they've caught you and they're hugging you on your arms, so your arms are stuck below, then you have to do something different, right? So, yeah, but this is a common one. Something you can do is you can even get on all fours to maintain even more of a base. Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. So, okay, so the usual one you learn in jiu-jitsu and self-defense class is more go behind. But this one is interesting. I've never seen this before. I have never seen this one. So, notice him shoot his two arms forward, right? To break the grip. And then watch what he does. He's gonna drive his right arm, right? So that's why. Okay, his left arm controls the right arm so he doesn't choke you. Then you drive the right arm down, right? And watch him scoop. It's like a scooping motion. Okay, I see. I like this mechanism. One, I'm sort of thinking about it, doing it right now. So there's some kind of pressure point thing they're talking about. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But the mechanism makes sense. Again, watch this. Shoot your arms forward. He didn't do it that time, but... because before he explained that the left arm controls the right arm, I was like, what if he chokes you when you give him your neck like that? But this kind of explains it. Okay, here we go. Ooh, I like this one. I like how the camera lingers. The camera lingers on that. So I guess... why is the guy grabbing you there? Oh, it's a defense against a groin grab. Whoa, this is a defense against Sir Master Wong. Shout out Master Wong. This is crazy. So, this is defense against Krav Maga 101. A defense against Krav Maga, bro. Dude, Krav Maga thought they invented stuff, but in Kung Fu techniques, they've been thinking about this stuff for hundreds of years, man. Look at this. Back in the day, someone tried this, you know, and then the Shaolin monks or whoever, the Wudong people or whoever had to come up with this. Again, this one, I think we've actually tested this before. If you watch the Avengers cut that we did, we looked at a similar technique where the guy claimed that, oh yeah, if I just crank his neck, I'm going to make him let go of my leg, right? But it's not that simple. Especially if he's going for a single leg. He's going to take you down. Even if you grab his neck, you're going down with him. So I don't like this one. See, anything that's too much countering wrestling or shoujo or judo with a small joint thing, you just have to take with a grain of salt, right? But all in all, there are a lot of valid techniques that I see just from the martial arts training I've done and from thinking about Body Academy. I said anatomy, sorry. So this is another finger lock. Let's see. Yeah, it's another thumb lock. So let's see how this works. It's similar. It's also a handshake position, right? See, handshake position. Okay, so it's what if he tries to thumb lock you? Yeah. So, see, he's being thumb locked. And then he's like, you thumb lock me, I will two hand on one, basically. I will get my other arm on your elbow area. Interesting. Very interesting. Again, you guys wonder, why does it start with handshake position? No, back in the day, right? I don't think shaking hands was something they did back in ancient China. So if you guys were in a handshake position, you're probably already in a grapple. You know, you guys are not friendly. I think that's why. You could also interpret it as, okay, maybe you're holding a weapon, you're trying to grab your weapon. So you gotta extrapolate why it would start in handshake position. Don't use modern sensibilities, right? Because handshaking was not always a thing. So this is another countering a grab, countering a small joint lock. So I see. Dude, these positions are ugly. As in, like, dude, someone's joints are gonna get hurt in this, man. So, okay, I get it. So basically, he's isolating one of the wrists. So, okay, he's trying to crank you. You isolate his left arm. So I'm sure this looks like something they practice in Aikido too. Guys, whether Aikido, Aiki-jujutsu came from Kung Fu is debatable, you know, because in battlefields, right, they're all going to figure this stuff out. In Pankration too, I'm sure they have stuff like that. So this is another countering a lock. So, yeah, so this is countering one of those positions. Oh, shit, sorry. Oops. Sorry, guys. I accidentally cranked the volume up. That was bad. So notice him trying to crank your arm. So he's jamming his two arms together, right? What does this look like? In Kung Fu movies, this happens a lot. Kung Fu TV shows. This one I'm a little skeptical of. Look at that. I'm a little skeptical of this one. Maybe it's just because I don't understand this one, but this one just seems like there's a lot of... One, there's better things you can go for, but two, there's a lot of assumptions I don't agree with in this one. So this one's not perfect, right? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Okay. Right. So the guy's trying to do that like handcuff position on you, and you somehow spin into like a choking his neck. See, he's trying to put you in handcuff position. Let's see. Yeah, so you're basically going with the force, and I guess instead of choking, you can just push on his chin, right? So even you could potentially even hit his chin. So don't just think grappling. Like, you potentially, right? You could really palm strike his chin instead of just choke. Oh, man. This one, I want to test this one. Thomas or Alan, some of you have been on my channel. Ryan, you guys should test this one. This one looks really cool. So that's another counter. So everything in this second third of the video is countering these locks. Okay, I see. I've seen. Remember the Taiwanese Bagua dude we featured? He also had a position like this. So he's trying to control you. So you have to somehow reverse this. So you have to turn right, you see. I don't know about this position. This position seems a little sketchy, especially if the guy puts his whole body weight into it. I don't know if you can just turn out of this. What do you guys think? Do you think you just turn out of this one? So, knowing what I see here, this is not as good as the sanda part of this video. I would give this like a B- right now. There's certainly definitely things you could use, but some of these counters, some of these things just have slightly not good assumptions. Okay. So, what if he cranks your neck? Okay, well, you just control him. You submit him. So again, first of all, the assumption that the neck crank's even going to work, right? But let's say the neck crank works. What do you do then if he tries to crank your neck? So the tutorial says use your left hand. Oh, I get it. The left hand is really... Okay, I see. But the right hand is very important, right? The right hand's the one at the elbow. So this one, I think, requires a lot of muscle memory. It's hard when you're getting your neck cranked and you're losing your equilibrium. It's really hard to like, okay, I'm going to take two of my hands and find his arm and crank him. Just my opinion. You guys can feel free to test this, prove me wrong, but I think there's a lot of bad assumptions in this one. That's cool. So what if someone tries to get a choke from behind you, right? Now, obviously, anyone who knows will bump your hips forward, right? If they control the core, the center of your body, your weight, then you don't have much. You have to do, you have to do judo, jiu-jitsu. But this is if he doesn't really know how to choke you from behind, right? Then you probably have a chance. Notice he turns his chin towards the crook of the elbow, right? That buys you like half a second, and then yeah, I could see this working, especially if the guy doesn't understand body mechanics, doesn't bump your hips forward. So yeah, situational awareness is very important, right? Never let someone, like if someone's behind you like this, you better turn around. Don't let this happen, man. That's probably the best tip, because once this happens, man, oof. But yeah, if he doesn't really know how to choke from behind, this probably can't work. So I think that's it. Maybe there's one more technique. Yeah, there's one more technique. Nope, that's it, man. So you see, those are the sanda techniques we looked at before. These are the qin-na techniques. So that's sanda technique right there. So guys, thank you so much for watching.